because James Small is with us today, and he's going to be here for a little while. So let's start at the end. What are you up to these days? What are you doing? Well, because I mean, every time we've and at the other radio station as well, when we put out there whatever the hell happened to, your name came up more than anyone else's. So people don't know, where's James Small? Where did he go? You've been lying low.
Most of the time, I don't know where I am myself, Darren. I just been big part of my life for a long time, and just kind of backed off the media and backed off any kind of exposure. Kids, family orientated man now. Not gainfully employed, but got a few things on the go. I've got involved with the building industry and a few other things, and just trying to make a buck, I suppose, like everybody else.
Involved in what type of, in the building industry? Interior design.
Well, yeah, I'm what I'd like to call an ergonomicist.
Ergonomicist.
Yeah. I like to buy spaces and recreate them, and add older places and add a new kind of take on them, and reorganize them so that they cool living spaces.
You can look at a room and basically, because some people can, some people can't do that. I can't look at a room and go, that should go there, that should go there.
Yeah, you
always looks wrong.
Try and do it in a cost-effective way. You know, if you buy right, you can make cash. Just taking out a wall here and putting in a door there, and just make it a more happy living environment.
And we're also hoping that we're going to have James here a lot more often as well, from the not too distant future.
Yeah, it would be nice. It would be nice. I mean, I've got a lot to say, so to have an audience would be cool. But yeah, I think it's time to give back to the game a little bit, and also to get involved with the rugby and media as a whole.
Have you been involved in rugby at all? I mean, do you help out from a coaching point of view, or? I've
done the Investec Academy, Dickie Muir's academy that he runs with in conjunction with Murray Mexted in New Zealand. They've got a couple of academies that they run a year, and it's really, really cool. They've got a lot of good youngsters that come through, and we work with the youngsters a couple of days, quite intense. Try and do individual stuff with them. Outside of their team training, we try and offer them as individuals the skills that they need to play the particular position, as well as the training skills and things like that they need to go forward.
Yeah. Having a conversation the other day about, or someone was talking about, and they were saying, no, well, these guys would never have survived, like people from your era would never have survived or made it at this level today. And I think the comment was back is that players today wouldn't have made it in the era that you played. Has it changed a lot?
Yeah, it's changed a lot. I actually, there's the one stat that I use is Kitch before our '95 World Cup did an exercise where they worked out how long the ball was in play for, actual play, and it was about 19 minutes of the 80 minutes.
Yes, sir.
I believe it's now gone to about 45 to 55 minutes of the actual 80 minutes. So the athlete that plays the game has to be a different athlete. Obviously, they're getting paid money now, which I was lucky that I did get a little bit out of it, but the professional era allows the athlete to become a better athlete. So you therefore can deal with the stresses of the modern day game.
And do you enjoy watching rugby now today?
I do, Darren. I do. I think. I actually had a conversation with a guy sitting at a coffee shop this morning. He said he's not enjoying it because all he watches is defence. But I think if you look at the quality of the footballer that's been produced now, those match breakers that are out there, the Quade Coopers of the world, the James Mitchells of the world, the Patrick Lambies of the world, they are really, really special. And I don't think that quality player existed back in those days. I think there's the real true game breakers now. The guys with the X factor now are better than we've ever seen in this game.
Yeah. The guys that are obviously been put in the squad with a lot of stuff to talk about as well. Is it the right mix of guys? New coach coming in, Heineke. Because I mean, there's issues around. They were talking about putting Adrian Strauss as captain. Therefore, he has to start as hooker. So Bismarck gets stuck on the bench again. Are you the kind of guy that feels a guy like Bismarck, despite the fact that he might be a yellow card liability a lot of the time, has to start in a team?
Yeah, I think the selection of a team starts with your key players. I think you start with a core of 5 or 6 footballers, and you select a side around them. Bismarck in my team would be one of those guys. The choice of, I think what the New Zealanders do better than us is they actually allow for form players in their selection. They can choose a player of form without the guys in the squad, or without standing on reputations or people's emotions, and they go about selecting form footballers. And I think that's something we've got to have a good squad, which we do have. We've got a lot of good players out there, but because you don't play one test match to the next doesn't mean there's no loyalty to you. I think we've got to allow for that flexibility in our selection process.
What about the captaincy issue?
Captaincy, look, I mean, I like what I'm hearing about Fourie. I'm a huge Fourie fan, and you know, for him to come back, I think it would be the only way that he would come back would be to come back and captain the side, and that's a huge honour for anybody. I mean, it's a massive thing, and I think, you know, he's a educated guy, he's a clever guy, he's a clever rugby player, and to have him as a leader initially, while there's a new coach and a new system, I think he carries the ball from the previous environment, so he can instill what the good things from the previous environment are into the new environment.
All right, questions on Twitter here. Chris goes, is Ed Morrison still off your Christmas card mailing list?
I want to poke out his other eye. He's only got one, the idiot.
Do you ever get to see one of that guy after that test, or like subsequently?
No, you know, you hear things via, and I mean, he's been quoted as saying that he can't repeat what I said to him.
What did you say to him?
I said to him, why don't you just give them an effing penalty try? Because he had marched us 30 meters back, and he's English. I think that explains that.
Yeah, exactly, and that's we know exactly. We've got a lot of people actually listening in London as well. So, but do we care?
I think that was South Africans. London wouldn't exist without us.
We've got a couple of South Africans got their office now listening to us, and a lot of them are Poms there as well. So that and we've been having this conversation about, particularly with the Poms in mind, and them coming out here for that test series.
Yeah.
Does it matter? Because Heineke are thinking of bringing out like Victor back, as opposed to putting youngsters like Jean-Andre Kruger in the side. Does it matter if we don't win that series, if we're putting youngsters in now, as opposed to losing a series, knowing that you put Victor in because you wanted to win the series?
Look, I think we've got better players. I think taking Victor on or taking Victor back, with all the respect to him in the world, I mean, he's really a phenomenal rugby player, but he's had his day. And we've got youngsters out there that I think would give us better performances than Victor would. And I think we take more of a risk in losing that series by doing that than actually putting out the youngsters. There's a kid called Itzebeth down in Cape Town who I would fear to play rugby against. And that fear factor, Victor doesn't bring it anymore. He's a good line-out forward, yes. His work rate is exceptional, yes. But this kid is as well, but he brings that X factor. And that X factor is what we need. Yeah. To go back to the series, you know, to start on a winning foot, I think is going to be very important for Heineke. I think the English are a good side. They're a good physical side, so we're going to know where we are in all aspects of the game. But I think he needs to focus on the first series. He needs to win his first series, especially being here. I think it'll make his tenure, however long it is or short it is, it'll make it a hell of a lot more bearable for everybody involved with it.
Yeah. Who are your let's on that subject while we're there? Who are your locks then? Who would you pick? Because as we say, there's Jean-Andre Kruger, there's Etzebeth. Although the Sharks guys stood up well to them, I mean, it looked like they were going to get absolutely pasted in the lineouts early on in that game, and then the Sharks dominated them after that. So they were kind of made to look, you know, found out a little bit in that game.
Look, one game doesn't make a winter, you know. I would play pairings. I would play him and Henny Becker's Lati. Becker's a phenomenal. I mean, he's a freak of nature. If you stand next to him, you'd understand. And Itzebeth brings that physicality, and they are the pairing that we had, Victor and Buckies. They are exactly that in the making, and I think we've got to give them that opportunity. They understand each other, so they play together every week, so you're not mixing up the apple cart. He needs to stay with as many small combinations within his team as what he can in order to keep boys happy.
Yes, Simon.
I'd like to ask James, with the greatest amount of respect.
Put your hand up. Put your hand up, and you can't call me James. Mr. Small or Sir is good
Mr.
to me.
Small. Sir, I'd like to know Mr. Small's thoughts on the Super 15 and whether, do you think it's been a success? Are you bored by it? Is it too much rugby? The conferences, are they working? What do you think?
No, it's a phenomenal game, Simon. It's entertaining football to watch. I think watching that Chiefs side, I think it's become a spectacle of physicality. And I think all you have to do is go and watch schoolboy rugby to see how much it's working. I mean, every young schoolboy these days is in the gym and trying to become a professional rugby player. So I think it's testimony to the Super 15. I think the Super 15 is the only taste of, it's a small step off international football. So international football, we can't play year in and year out like they do cricket. But the Super 15 allows that intensity that a test match type game brings. And I think it's created another tier in the whole system.
Yeah. Speaking of tiers, I'm trying to remember what we had that massive debate at the Golf Country Club the one day about. Because I think we were arguing for like 40 minutes. I know it's something to do with the Lions.
I don't think we were sober though, Darren, so I wouldn't be able to remember.
I want to go back. We'll chat about the Lions a little later on, because you obviously, and this is probably something that a lot of people would like to know. What class were you in when you played first team Greenside? First, when you started?
Oh, no, I was under 15, I think, under 16.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So no, I wasn't a kid.
Was it Urban Legend then? You started like as a standard 6 kid?
Yeah, no.
That was nice, Twitter.
No, it was standard 3. So, so you played, obviously you went up, you played for the Lions or Transvaal.
Yeah.
You played for the Sharks.
Yeah.
You played for Province.
Yeah.
Where's the heart?
With the Sharks. I'm a big Sharks fan. I played for the Lions. They were going through big transitional stages, and I got invited to a practice by mistake and managed to put my hand up and
By
made
mistake?
it. Yeah, they invited the Wits fullback, and the Wits fullback that week, the Saturday prior to the trials, got injured, and they sent me in his place, and they were calling me Mark Julian the whole practice, and I was like, no, I'm not Mark Julian. My name's James Small. And I made the side, played quite a few games for Transvaal. I played, I think, over 60 games for Transvaal, and I left. The Sharks setup at that stage was a predominantly English setup, and just suited the nature of me being down in Durban, training in the good weather. It was what I wanted to do with my rugby career. Up here was a bit dealing with.
He's not saying he doesn't like Afrikaans people, Nicole. Don't clear it.
No. Both my kids are Afrikaans. I have to like Afrikaans.
All right. So I didn't know that about that. That it was. Have you ever written a book?
I've got to learn how to read first.
So does anyone know that it was a mistake?
There was a guy called Blackie who used to put the jerseys out.
Yeah.
I put my jersey down, and he looked at me. He said, "You're not Mark Julian." I said, "Yes, no, I'm not." He says, "Oh, you must be here to make up numbers then." So Blackie knows.
All right, he knows.
Was Gavin Johnson around then, James?
No, it was before Gav's time.
Before Gav's
I'll go back to the days. My first test match I played with Jannie Breert as captain, and played outside Donnie Gerber and Nas Botha.
Who was your fullback in those days? Was that Krobler? Was he around at Transvaal in those days?
Who played in I think Hughes Edwards played a couple of games with me in those early days.
No, I'm talking about Transvaal days.
It was
Leon Kirkham?
a guy called Yanni Pretorius. I never played with Leon. Leon unfortunately got injured the year just before I started
Yanni
playing.
actually contacted us a couple of weeks ago. He sent us an email. He's busy doing some type of training.
I was actually the Transvaal fullback, Darren. I've played
You
fullback.
started wing?
No, I've played fullback in those days. So
You started fullback? I can't remember.
Yeah, I played my second game at Loftus.
Serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't a trick question.
No. Just it was funny. Who played fullback in those days? It was actually me.
Actually you. All right, James Small with us. He'll be here with us for.
2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mondays to Fridays live on Ballz.co.za. Ballz.co.za.